Okay, so now we can move on to expanding expressions and algebra. So now here, when an expression contains brackets, you have to expand the expression before you can simplify it. So now, to expand an expression means to multiply everything in front of a pair of brackets. Now, let's look at this by an example. So let's expand each of the following. So let's say we have the first party, our x, y plus z, then our b, xy, x minus y squared, our c, 2y minus 5x plus c, 3y minus c, x, our d, here we have x plus 1, x minus c, 3. Then we are going to have our e, where we can have x minus c, 2 squared. Okay, now let's begin with our point A. So the first party, when you are expanding an expression like this one, the x must multiply with every variable or expression inside the bracket. So the first thing that we are going to do is our positive x must multiply with the positive y. So x times y, we have xy. So if you multiply two different letters, you know, we are going to have those same two different letters plus x times z, we get our xz. So if you want to check if your answer is correct, you can try to factorize. So if you had to factorize, we can see that x is common. So if we remove x, then here we remove x, or we divide x into xy, we have y, plus x into xz, we have so we can see that we have the first expression, so our answer is okay. Now let's look at the second part. Here the second part is xy times x. So let's look at the x outside the bracket is raised to the power 1. Then the second one inside the bracket is also raised to the power 1. So since here we have the same bases, we just get 1x. Then we add the exponent. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So we are going to have x squared y minus. Now the second one, this xy will multiply with negative y squared. So we can see that we are going to have our x, then y, the y outside the bracket is raised to the power 1, then the one inside the bracket is raised to the power 2. So we can add 1 plus 2, we get our y raised to the power 3. Okay, now let's check for the other one. So here we have a number. We have a number outside the bracket. So this number will multiply with everything inside the bracket. Okay, so we are going to first we expand, then we are going to simplify as far as possible. So the first one, 2 times 2y, we get 4y minus. So minus, then 2 times 5x, we get 10x. Plus 3 times y, it's 3y, minus 3 times x, we get 3x. So we have expanded. Let's see if we can collect the like terms. So here, the 4y and the 3y are like terms. Negative 10x and negative 3x are also like terms. So we can now say 4y plus 3y minus 10x minus 3x. So the first part here, we are going to add 4y plus 3y, we have 7y. Then here also we are going to add, since we have the same sign, so negative 10 minus negative 3, we have negative 13x. So this is our answer. Now let's try our d. So our d, here we have our d. Now for part D, we can see that we have two brackets that should be multiplied together. So we can see that from the first bracket here, this x will multiply with this x and with negative 3. Then the other one, this one, will multiply with x, then also by negative 3. So now let's begin with x. So the first x is raised to the power 1 and the other x is raised to the power 1. So we are just going to say x raised to the power 2 because 1 times 1 plus 1 is 2, or x times x is x squared. Then x times negative 3 is just negative 3x. So we are done with this x, we got with 1. So anything times 1 is equal to the same thing. So 1 times x is just x. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. So x squared. Here we can subtract since they are like terms. So negative 3x plus x, so which is negative 2x minus 3. So we are done with this part. Then let's look at our e. So our e, what we are going to do is we need to write two brackets. So the first bracket is x minus 2. Another bracket will be x minus 2 since we have raised to the power 2. So we are going to do the same as we did to part D. So this x will multiply with x and negative 2. Then negative 2 will multiply with x, then and also by negative 2. So x times x is x squared. Then x times negative 2 is negative 2x. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Then negative 2 times negative 2, negative times negative, positive 2 times 2 is 4. X squared minus 4x plus 4. So we need to add, they have the same sign and maintain the sign. So that is what we have done. So this is how you can expand algebra expression. Okay, now let's move on. Let's look at now factorizing algebra expression. So we can look at now factorizing algebra expression. So the first part, let's factorize it. Now factorization has in different forms. There is factorizing by finding common factors. Then there is also factorizing by grouping terms. Then we also have factorizing quadratic functions where you need to find the sum, product, and the factors. Then also the difference of two squares. Now let's begin by factorizing by finding the common factor. So let's factorize the first one. Here we have our 2p plus 4 and 2r plus 4r squared, our c 9xy minus 3x minus 3x squared. So let's look at the first part. So we need to find the common factor. So the common factor, 2 is common because 2 can go into 2p and 2 can go into 4. Then for p is not common because 4 has no p. So the only common factor is 2. Then after finding the common factor, you need to open the brackets. Then you divide 2 into 2p. So what this means is we are going to divide 2 into 2p. These 2 and these 2 cancel, giving us a p plus, then we divide 2 into 4. So 2 into 4 is 2, or we need to find a number that if we are to multiply 2 times 2, we can go back to 4. So to check your answer, you can try to expand. 2 times p, we get 2p. 2 times 2, we get 4. So this is our correct answer. Okay, now we can move on to question 2. Here we have r raised to the power 1 plus 4r raised to the power 2. So we can now check for the common factor. Here the common factor is r. So r is common. Now r into r, or what number can we multiply by r to take us back to r is 1. What we are saying is if we have r over r, this r and r will cancel, which is giving us a 1. Plus, then here we have 4 r times r, since we have squared, over, we are dividing with this, the one outside the bracket, so you can see that we can cancel 1 r. So here we are going to have 4 r. So this is our answer for this one. Now let's go to question C. Question C. So question C will begin with the common factor in terms of a number. So we can see that here 3 is common, 3 is common, 3 is common. So number 1, 3 is common. Then in the second one, x is common, x is common, also x is common. So x is also common. Now you open the bracket. So we are going to divide. So we have 9xy over 3x. So you can see that we can cancel this and we cancel this. Then we can divide 3 into 3 is 1, 3 into 9 is 3. So on top we just have 3y. So what we are saying is 3x into 9xy, we have 3y minus, then let's say negative 3x divided by 3x. So we can see that we can cancel this, which is just negative 1, minus 3 times x times x. I've written 2x because we have x raised to the power 2 divided by, we are dividing this part here, so divided by 3x. So this 3 can cancel, this x and this x can cancel. So we can say this is our final answer for the first part of factorization in terms of grouping terms. Okay, now let's see, find the now factorization in terms of grouping terms. So the first one is we have ax plus bx plus ay plus by, then h squared plus hp minus ah minus ap, 3ac minus bx plus bc minus ax. So the first part you need to do is, for you to know that you are going to use the method of grouping of terms, first you need to check if you can factorize by finding the common factor. So let's look at what is common among these. So you can see that there is no letter that is common. So we can now find, we are going to do in terms of grouping. So the grouping is, we are going to factorize this part ax plus bx, then we are also going to factorize this part. So that is what we call grouping of terms. So you group into 2. So now let's factorize the first part. So from the first part here, we can see that our x is a common factor, then open bracket. So x into ax is x, is a, plus x into bx is b, plus what is our common factor here is y, open bracket, y into a, y is a, plus y into by is b. Now make sure that after you are done factorizing, these 2 in brackets must be equal to each. So what we are going to do is, now we are going to factorize the common now. So the common is, we are just going to get one of these common in brackets. So a plus b, then this x and plus y must now form another bracket, which is x plus y. So that is our answer for the first part. Now let's look at the second part. So the second part here, we can factorize this part since h is common. Also here, we can factorize this one since negative a is common. So let's begin. here we have our h is common, open brackets. So h into h squared. So one h will cancel, will give us h plus h into hp. That h will cancel, will get our p. Then here our negative a is common. So negative a into negative ah, we just get positive h. Negative into negative aap, we get plus p. So you can see that we have this common part, so of which we can say h plus p. Then this h minus a will form a bracket and will give us h minus a. So we have done that part. So let's check for the other part. So for the other part, what we are going to do is we have AC bx. So we can see that the first part here, we need to find something that is that has a common factor. So here we can a c minus a x. These two, we can see that we have at least letter a is common. So then for the other one, we are going to have negative bx plus bc. So we have grouped into two parts as long as there is one variable that is common. So here we can see that our our a is common. So if we remove, we are going to have here, if we divide a into ac, is just c, minus a into ax is just c, x. Now for this one, let's see what is common here. What is common? So from there we can see that b is common. So we can say b is common. So now we can divide positive b into negative b x. So this is negative b x over b. So you can see that the b will cancel, leaving us negative x plus then b into bc plus c. So these two, they are the same. Even if the arrangement, maybe let's try to rearrange. So I have c minus x plus c b. Let's now begin by c minus x. So you can see that we have the same expression in each bracket. So we can get one c minus x. Then here, so we are going to have a plus c b. So this is how you can factorize by grouping of terms. Now let's move on. Let's try to factorize by the difference of two squares. So factorize each algebraic expression using the difference of two squares. So the first one, let's say our a will be p squared minus 4 squared, then a squared minus 9, 2x squared minus 50, then our d18 m squared minus 72 n squared. Okay, so now for you to know that you are going to use the difference of two squares, make sure that the operator in between the two expressions is negative. So if you have a positive, please do not use the difference of two squares. So let's begin with the first part. Now for the first part, we can see that they are all raised to the power 2. So what you do is you just open two brackets. This is what you do. Then here we have two p's. So one p will be written here, then the other p will be written there. So then this positive negative sign, one bracket will have a positive, then the other one will have a negative. Then for the other two 4s, one 4 will be written here, then the other 4 will be written there. So this is the factorization of two different 2 squares. Then for B, here we have our a squared minus. So now here we have been given a number like 9. So what we are going to do is we need to break this 9 into its square number. So 9 is same as 3 squared, because we know that 3 times 3 is equal to 9. So after doing this now, we open 2 brackets as usual. Then the first a is here, the other a will be written there. Then plus, minus, the other 3 here. Okay, so this is what you do when you are factorizing to a different of 2 squares. Now, here what we are going to do is, first we are going to factorize by finding the common factor. So the common factor here is 2. So 2 into 2x squared is just x squared, minus 2 into 50 is 25. So here we can see that here minus, so 25 is same as 5 raised to the power 2, because we know that 5 raised to the power 2 is same as 25. So what we are going to do is now we use the difference of 2 squares for this part. So here we have x and here we have x. If we want this, we can change minus plus, so it doesn't matter which bracket has a minus. So as long as they need to have different signs, then 5 here, 5 here. So this is our answer there. Now let's go to the part D, 18m squared minus 72n squared. So the first, now we are going to factorize by finding the common factor, because 18 is common. 18 can go into 18m squared and also into 72n squared. So 18 is common. After we are done with this one, so 18 into 18m squared is just m squared, minus 18 into 72 is 4n squared. Now for you to use the difference of 2 squares, make sure each part is raised to the power 2. So we can see m is raised to the power 2. Now this 4 must also be written as 2 squared n squared. So after now each part is raised to the power 2, we can now open, we can have 2 brackets where here we have m, here we have m, plus, minus, then 1 2 here, there are 2 there, n upper and n also here. So we have this one. So this is some of the ways in which we can factorize algebraic expressions. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.